And this will be the largest vaccine distribution thus far. In addition to what happens at the Borchard Fairgrounds, the Corpus Christi Fire Department is also putting plans in place to vaccinate Tier 1B residents who were not able to physically go out and get it for themselves. 3 News reporter Ashley Gonzalez has details.
On Friday, local officials informed the community step by step how the 4,000 doses of the Moderna vaccine will be distributed starting on Monday. And at the same conference, the Corpus Christi Fire Department shared a preview of what they have in mind for residents who are in Tier 1 but homebound or cannot make the mass vaccine event. They're calling it the Hotshot program.
Our target is to focus on those that are already receiving senior services from City of Corpus Christi programs.
Quintero says there are 3 programs they'll be using to find senior citizens who might want the vaccine.
These services are in the form of Meals on Wheels, the Senior Companion Program, as well as the Retiree and Senior Volunteer Program.
Once that population is identified, members of the fire department will then take the vaccine to the various senior centers and complete the immunizations. Additionally, Quintero says the Hotshot program will go further and identify homebound citizens and then take the vaccine to them. However, he says that program is still in its planning stages, and details as to when and where these vaccines will be distributed are very limited.
As you drive around the city and you see locations of construction that state coming soon, that sticker belongs on this plan.
Right now, the program is for people that have not been vaccinated yet. Ashley Gonzalez, 3 News.